Large-scale maneuver warfare coupled with combined arms is necessary to overcome an opposing army. In total tank generals, generals will command combat units and support them with recon, artillery, anti-tank, and armored vehicles. When front lines collapse, tens of thousands of troops will pour through, capturing land, troops, and strategic locations. Nations' borders will shift and the populations will be eradicated. The combat, while intense, is abstracted due to its large scale. This serves as a first impressions of Total Tank Generals. Total Tank Generals allows wargames to wage battle across several World War II fronts. It approaches this genre in a rather unique way, and by doing so, it allows new players to dive into this game, or this genre, that we all love. Commanders will be amassing firepower, forces, as they attempt to shatter the opposing general's front lines. So the three campaigns that you have in Total Tank Generals is the North African front, the Eastern front, and the Western front. There's also a full scenario editor, mod support, as well as single scenarios. We're going to click on campaign, and we're going to start with the General Patton campaign because this one takes place in North Africa. So when we click next, it's going to allow us to select our mission. Let's go to select mission. And we get to participate in Operation Torch, November 8th, 1942, General Patton. I actually want to show something. There is a difficulty slider right there that may be necessary because this game can be oppressive at times. It is beginner friendly, but at the end of the day, in the first couple of missions I played, it was rather daunting to hit that turn limit within a reasonable amount of time. So we're going to go into the game. We're going to really dive in to provide our first impressions, explain some of the mechanics, and just take a view of this abstracted and new World War II game. This is really interesting to me. I know why it's set out this way, but in my opinion, it really creates a snowball effect. And if you're more of a not as good at war games or strategy games, then you kind of get gypped at the end of the day. So doing worse punishes you, but doing better is much better for you. And so it just makes it harder on someone who's maybe not as good at the war games. I know why it's set out like this, but it doesn't make, like, for new players, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And then here we are. This is what the map will look like. It's very basic. If you zoom out or like rotate, you can kind of see it takes place in an office. Overall, your units level up throughout the campaign, so you want to keep them alive. That's one of the more unique features about this game. I do really enjoy this setup. It looks like it plays on a bit of a board, which is something that's unique to this genre, but I feel like a lot of people this kind of hasn't been redefined. I mean, not unique, but kind of standard. So we have all our units. We do have 500 points we could call in if we wanted more infantry, more support, more recon, more anti-air. We're not going to do any of that right now. I'm not sure what the meters are of each hex, so I know this is like a full town right here, so I don't know exactly the range of each hex. So like in some games, this hex represents 50 meters. This hex represents 500 meters. This represents 10 miles, things like that. So the one thing we need to know is our recon units, really how we're going to determine what units we spot. It's also important to note that you can only have 3 units per hex, so you need to be really careful managing your traffic jams. And I'll explain that more in that here in a minute. So if we move forward, we spot enemies, we continue to move forward. We're trying to identify anyone that we can. What this is going to do, it's going to prevent them from ambushing us or really shooting any fire. So we need to make a determination right now. If we leave this unit right here and we stack 3 units into this hex, our infantry will not be able to route through this hex to get up onto this position. So when we conduct our maneuvers, that's what we need to consider. So initially, this is my second time playing this mission, and the AI is really, really oppressive in it. I mean, absolutely oppressive. So I'm trying to figure out how I want to orient myself. Also, it's not really like the smartest. As you see, it tells you that there's no bridge crossing, which is absolutely obvious. So if we tell it to move over to this position, the AI is just going to walk to this hex and just be like, why'd you tell me to move over here? You actually need to tell your AI to navigate across the bridge. Otherwise, they're not going to. So here comes the hard part. Where do we want our infantry troops and where do we want our tanks? Ideally, there is an anti-tank gun right here, which is really kind of frustrating to deal with. But we don't want our infantry alone without these tanks. So we do have a lot more infantry, but we have very few tanks. So if these guys get engaged by the tanks that are over here, or the anti-tank gun with a range of 3 hexes, we're going to have a bit of a hard time. So we really need to think about our movements and strongly consider them. So I'm going to pull this recon unit back 1 hex. I don't want a recon unit where he's at and kind of obstructing everything. And since these units are in this position, I really feel like they change a lot of the hexes for us. So we have two tanks right here. The purpose of these 2 tanks is to provide fire support onto these barriers. This tank right here is going to move into this hex in this general vicinity. That's not, I prefer for him to be right here, but let's just do that. So these units don't have a lot of attack options. So we really need to figure out how we're going to go about this. I want this tank in this urban environment. I want a lot of fire support right there. And then I want to push these infantry units all the way forward into this area right here. And I just want to stand off 1 hex while we kind of see what the AI does. If we move forward 1 more, we don't really have any option to engage anyone. We would just be able to move forward 1 hex, which is the absolute worst. So right now we're managing a lot of our movement points. If we move here, we'd just be pre-positioning our units to get absolutely slaughtered and unable to defend themselves. So like I said, once we do this, once we conduct this move right here, this hex is our units can no longer move directly through this hex. So we cannot stack a unit right there. So let's do that. Not ideally where I want them to go, but it's just something that's needed right now. If we move an infantry unit up here, he will not be able to, no units will be able to travel through. So initially, when he moves into this position, if we move him forward 1 hex, he'll have to step forward. So now we have a traffic jam right there. These tanks do not have enough action points to fire, so this unit is basically offline right now. We have a clear path right here and a clear path right here. We do need to reinforce this flank over here. I'm going to provide infantry support right there. That puts us within range of that artillery gun. Not really where I want to be. This is an open field. We're going to stack right there. And we're just going to try and close this gap a little bit. And like I said, we can't stack infantry units right there. So we really need to prioritize how we move and think about 3 or 4 turns ahead. But I don't really want to. See, that's the silly goose stuff right there. It shouldn't path like that. I don't want him out alone. So he's just going to move forward 1 hex. Anti-tank, can you move all the way up to here? That's 2 hexes. Please cross the river. Thank you. And this is going to move forward 1 hex. That's perfect. So do you have any action points to engage anyone? Let's focus down this artillery or anti-tank, and we missed. Outstanding. I hate missing. I hate it so much. That's the end of our turn. We hit this next turn, it ends our turn. We can go next unit. There's really nothing this guy can do. If we move him, if we step him forward any hexes, he's just going to get engaged by any tanks, and he's going to be all alone. So a bit of a challenging one to get done in 6 turns. And that. So they stumbled into our ambush. That's fantastic. And you missed. Cool. I'm not sure why that AI is being so super oppressive right now. So we're giving the AI a chance to make a bunch of mistakes. With that 1 hex buffer, they kind of make mistakes and kind of don't really pay attention. I feel like there's an attack buff or modifier because I don't think the attacker should, like, I mean, right here is understandable, right? We're both out in the open, and he's really getting punished. Oh, my God. That poor tank. And then, oh, my God. And, of course, their artillery doesn't miss. Oh, my God, dude. All right. So what happened? This guy got basically obliterated. We could resupply. I don't remember resupply affects health. I think it just does morale and entrenchment. So we could have this unit dig in. So what can we do? The numbers kind of jumble. So this guy's a 9. This is a 7, 10, 10, 9, 6. We lost 1 infantry unit right off the bat. So we know this tank's a range of 1. We should easily be able to... Are we losing 4? We are losing 1. This should be a good trade for us. And we miss? Bro, come on. So obnoxious. So, we had an 80% chance to hit that tank. We missed twice in a row. We could move. Do we have another heavy tank anywhere within range? This is a 2 for 1. I mean, we had to trade something. Is he going to miss? A 2 for a 2. And he missed us. Okay, I'll take him. They're more than capable of missing. What unit did we select? This is going to take 1 ammo. This should do a significant amount of damage. All right. So we pause right there. So we have, that took how many resources? 1, 2, 3 resources. 3 of our tanks to destroy 1 tank. That's a good assessment to note. What about our mortars? Are they online? What can they hit? Do we hammer this guy? So we want really the most... I find these AT guns to be the most dangerous because they can kind of cause a lot of damage to our tanks. But here we have 2 forces that are amassed, so we could get a 2 for 1. Let's see. Knowing our luck, it's a none for none. A 1 for 1. I've missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots so far. I think that's really important to talk about as we do this playthrough. What do we trade right here? 3 for 6, not ideal. 1. Wait, we're hovering over that. 6 for 2. This is just a nightmare. What about you? What do you trade? Get off that infantry unit. 3 for 2. We take the 3 for 2. 2 for 2. And that's it for our anti-tank. Ooh, we have this guy over here on our right. He needs to move forward 1. Can he direct lay on this infantry unit? He can. All right, so we have a small tank. If that tank engages us, we're going to take damage. So what do? We need to get rid of this guy, but we can't move through this hex because it's a bit of a traffic jam. So we can close this gap a little bit. Can he move? All right, so this hex is now a bit of a traffic jam. Just select the one guy, please. He has no action points. Cool. Good to note. We're still not making any progress over here on this right-hand side. No real way. I know this infantry unit can kind of outrange him a little bit. 2. Miss. We've missed almost every single one of our attacks. So he gets to live. Can this unit step forward and attack? He can. So if we move forward 1 hex, he's threatened by 1, 2, 3. We don't want to move forward 1 hex. He steps forward 1 hex next turn. He can't move. And so we're making almost no progress on turn 2. You can't move. You can move. You step forward. Step forward. Step forward. Can you direct lay on anyone? Nope. This guy has a bad time, right? That's what we do. 2, 2. 2, 1, 2. 2, 1. Retreat. So what do we have? Did we get any ground right there? Does anyone have any power to do anything? No. Why would you even show me that unit? Other than to shoot that tank for no reason. You step forward 1 hex. Why would we step you forward? Right there makes sense. Oh my god, dude. Bro, this is the problem I had with the demo. Stop missing. Ooh, Operation Torch. I don't think... Okay. So they hit an airstrike. All right, 1 miss. Cool. No miss. And a rout. And we lose ground. Why? Okay, so I missed 5 times last turn. 5 or 6. Now we're just counting misses. I think that's 100% fair to count misses. 0. I count that as a miss. Okay. 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 My dude has missed once. So out of every single one of his attacks, all right, now we're serious. Now we're serious with this misses. All right, so very clearly this would be much better. I guess it doesn't really matter. We lose 3, they lose 3, even if we trade for that. We have 500 tokens. I guess we bring in tanks. We bring in 1 light tank right here. Then we bring in infantry support. All right, we're broke as a joke. So we continue to move to secure this area, which is currently absolutely impossible to get. Now I see why people were talking a lot about their difficulty. So we're all within range. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks on us. And we've lost 1, 2, 3 of our tanks. They also have routed all of our forces. So let's get rid of this guy who's back on our doorstep. 2, 1. Can we please get better odds? 1, 0. Just grinding this one guy down. Okay, so we've destroyed their infantry while they just have fun with our anti-tanks. So we're going to move to secure this next area. I think that's 100% fair. We stumble into that ambush. Of course we do. Let's see if we can break this guy. I have a first impressions of it so far. I know how I feel at this moment in time. That's 100% true. All right, so unfortunately we've got 1 miss. So we resecured the airfield. So now we can call in a strategic bomb. Who do we want to take out? This artillery is frustrating. This guy over here is frustrating. All of these tanks are well within range. This guy's right on our door. We could get a 5 on him. So it's left click to drop right. Let's see how that performs. So there goes their anti-tank, so that allows us to close this gap a bit better, but all our tanks are over here on this right while all their tanks are over there on that left. What about this? 3 out of 5. Why are we losing 5 and they're losing 3? Why are we losing 4? This is a literal... Is this not a literal anti-tank gun? No, it's a field artillery. All right. Let's see if we can break everyone over here. Absolutely no damage. All right. You move forward 1 hex. So now we're in the urban environment. You can easily eliminate that unit. Did that say miss? Our turns are wasted via miss. Missed. Cool. Let's just roll the dice right now and say we're a miss. Artillery. Retreat. So we've created a traffic jam right here, right? There's not. Why can't we secure this hex? You have no movement points, but you could move over 1 right there. So that opens this up. Is there like a reason? I guess that barbed wire is really, really just being a major bummer to us. So can we, even if we tried to get here in these next 2 turns, we would have to break pretty much this tank assault, which is kind of ruining our time. And we would have to continue to deal with these 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have this artillery piece that we can't really manage because we have this traffic jam. Can anyone move out of these hexes? So at the end of the day, does it go, all right, so you're a 10, so obviously we trade these 10s to hope to get this little tank destroyed? 2-1. So if we trade these 10s, we do know it wears it down. 1-1. Like, is there ever a reason to not do that? We move you out of there, try and get you out of range. What's going on is the AI is going to try and secure our point right here, and we have no choice to kind of pull back. That's what the AI loves to do. It's done that to me in the demo. So you just trench like that. Can anyone else just dig a trench? Next unit. You're out of ammo. So let's see how this turn plays out. Little frustrated. What's that? Oh my god, bro. So our artillery misses. Can we not? Or anti-air, like, man, you can't have that many misses, dude. I'm sorry. Like, I don't understand, like, the thought behind let's just stack misses. I don't get it. Right, and so we're being routed out of our hex. So we lose our artillery piece. He levels up, goes to 11, soft attack. So instead of pushing forward, what's going on right here? So we can't push forward. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks. Like I said, they're going for. And I'm trying to just rethink about the poor decisions I made, right? Because obviously we made a lot of poor decisions. So this is a loss. Like, I mean, we 100% need to start over. That's exactly what we need to do. But we need to figure out why we need to start over and what decisions we made wrong. I think that's 100% fair in this assessment. There's no way they're gonna secure this deployment point. So if we say, hey, let's go, we want our tank. We have 6 out of 10 tanks. We say, please put a tank here on this side of the river for no reason. So we get our light tank. We're facing down a Panzer Regiment 22. Don't know what a Panzer Regiment 22 is, and a 43rd Air Defense, who apparently is poorly trained and cannot hit an aircraft when flying into their airspace. If we can drop artillery on here because this is where it's amassed. For some reason, it's not going to allow us. We have 1, 2, 3 tanks knocking on our deployment step. 1, 2 preventing us from going the direction we need to go. Now we need to retrograde and figure out why we're losing this battle. What mistakes did we make in this turn? We missed, on our second turn, we missed 5 or 6 very critical rolls. I think that's super unfair. Every time they fired their artillery, it hit at least 3 out of 3 units. It maybe missed once. So what were the mistakes we made? Was amassing forces in this town, this urban environment, this dense urban area, which according to, if I zoom in, there are buildings there, they're a mistake. You need to be within 1 hex for your infantry to be able to attack this unit right here. You can kind of stand back and have your tanks 1 hex away, but then you need to engage this anti-tank. But you also have 6 turns to secure these 3 objectives. So what happened was we positioned ourselves in this area. I wish I could go back in time. We can't attack because we need to maneuver over here, so we can't really set up any defenses. So do we sacrifice turn 1? They push forward, then we engage them, hopefully destroy them without getting 5 or 6 misses in a row. We've managed a lot of our crowd control, so a lot of our traffic jams are really managed. I do feel like they maybe need to allow units to move through there because it kind of creates a bit of a headache, because then it turns into like a traffic jam management and not so much a war game. So what were our mistakes? So obviously we secured this airfield. Our anti-air is super ineffective at shooting down their vehicles on turn 3. So we lost a significant portion when it was, what, a 5-4-1 on our tanks. So that caused a significant morale drop. So we can blame maybe bad anti-air performance on that. Turn 3, we lost 3 tanks, 1, 2, 3, remember? Right off the bat. Every time they attack, it's always a 2-1. So they're always, they take 1 damage, we take 2 damage. So it's always a 50% loss on us anytime we're engaged by them. Unless we either score a 0, which 0 makes absolutely no sense. I guess that's just a damage to morale. So if you just roll a 0, you damage their morale, and then if you do nothing, it's a miss. They don't get any morale damage. Get rid of 0. Take a look at the misses, because right now this feels really, really unfair. So what I need to do is I need to route whatever tanks I have, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and attempt to destroy these 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks, this anti-tank gun. So 5, a light tank over here, while managing this infantry, which apparently has a bit of a buff. And my initial impressions when I first played the game, it wasn't as challenging. We instantly like steamrolled the enemy. But it seems like it plays for guard your deployment area. I don't want to guard my deployment area. If this is Operation Torch, then like we're pushing forward. This is a beach assault. So if I need to sit here and always have 2 or 3 units like in reserve, which I do have 2 or 3 units in reserve, 4 now, then it's not fun. And then you're rolling misses constantly. Every turn is a miss. Like if we play this a game, and this is the second time I've played this, the deciding factor is not my positioning. The deciding factor is not the forces that I bring. It's not my recon, and it's not my artillery usage. The deciding factor of this game is the misses. 100%, in my opinion, at this moment in time, it's missed, 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 missed. The deciding factor is also the attack advantage. So instead of always rolling like a 1-1 or a 2-2, it's always 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 0-1, 0-1, miss, miss, miss. It's never any more or any less. So even as we amass firepower, do morale checks, things like that, you're really, man, like the misses, they just feel bad. And right now, there's no way for us to stop this assault. Unless I completely retrograde for no reason, because we're trying to secure this turn in 13 points. And then let's just talk about the AI movement. So when we have AI on the other side of the river, I know there is a perk that allows it to cross. I feel like that shouldn't be active until you have that level unlocked. I believe it's level 1 or level 2. The AI should prioritize bridges before level 1. There's no reason for me to go select over here in the AI to walk to this water and just put his hands up like Shock Pikachu. Like before level 1, the AI should, or level 2, whatever it is, should prioritize bridges in their movement to not confuse new players. And really, really take a look at those misses. Right now it's a miss simulator. It's not a war game. I'm not managing my troops how I want to manage them. I find myself prioritizing traffic jams and prioritizing the die roll. I'm not prioritizing my firepower. I'm not really prioritizing recon units. Especially with some of the mechanics. So if we click on this unit and talk about like the Overwatch mechanic, so it's kind of like a half breed of like XCOM if I can find it. So I haven't read too much about the Overwatch mechanic, but with a turn limit, and I know XCOM does this really well, is it doesn't feel like 6 turns you're never going to use Overwatch at all. Especially in this environment. So we have 1 hex view over here. I'm not sure if this hex blocks line of sight. So bringing text along this area to secure this airfield feels like the right decision. Pushing this way to secure this airfield doesn't feel like the right decision, right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4. You need to cross this bridge. And so let's say we have, 9 or 10 units to manage. 3, 6, 9. So 3 right here instantly clogs up our road. So we need to route around. So the first hex we'd initially probably put 3 units in would be this one or this one. And then 3 right here, and then you have this whole left flank kind of exposed over here. So you say, I don't want this airfield that's way closer, that's next to the side objective. So instead you go, okay, secure this airfield, secure this objective, and then route north. I don't know. Maybe like a 2-pronged attack's the wrong decision. But it didn't even feel like a 2-pronged attack, right? We're just trying to first secure this objective, the very close one, and then move. We're just going to say towards Port Lorette this way. So lots of bad decisions. Obviously, we could go through these woods and secure it this way. But, I mean, I don't know. Feels bad. Lots of feel bad moments, right? Especially with the misses, and you couple that with the ammo management. It feels bad. I'm not going to lie. It feels bad. As far as buy, I mean, it's a really simple game. The editor's really in-depth. But can we please just take a look at a few things? please. But I'm not gonna. I'll do a should you buy later or is it worth a buy or whatever. But that's my current opinion. And it bums. I really wanted to play through all 6 turns, but we need to start over. Like, right, this is 100% start over, and we need to prioritize defending. We need to prioritize defending this area, letting their tanks flood in, destroying themselves, and then moving around. This feels kind of dumb. All right, that's it. Peace.